The lights went off, but the fans kept doing their work at Cuttack as India gave them lots to smile about. India have won the series 2-0. We're back at Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher and I have Zach and Joyda in the house. What a comprehensive series win, Joyda. And of course, Rohit Sharma doing what Rohit Sharma does.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as they say, past is also ticked off. Rohit was not doing well. Present is ticked off. He's in form now. Future is looking good because a lot of Indian batters are in form now. So, all in all, it's a very satisfying report card for India. There are little matters here and there that need to be sorted, but overall, India will be very, very happy with themselves today.
Zach, that looks like a very dominant summary card. Overall, we see Gill, we saw Shreyas, everyone contributing and chipping.
Yeah, very comfortable run chase. You'll have to say a good solid start by the openers, good contribution from the middle order as well. At no stage you felt that this run chase can get tricky. And that's a great sign. So that's why it has to be a comprehensive victory, the series victory also for India.
Well, we are here with this big series win, and the reason we have won this big series win today is because of our skipper who led from the front. He is our Kia Ceros Performer of the Day, Kia movement that inspires. Rohit Sharma led from the front, and how, Joyda? We speak about Kia Ceros and his style, and Rohit Sharma epitomizes style and his boldness.
Absolutely. And, I love the way that, style, you're talking about the inside out that he was hitting of Adil Rashid. He was looking so good doing it. Then on the leg side. And Rohit, when he's in form, is imperious. He's just, there's a separate, there's a body language changes. He hits a couple of sixes. He looks up and you know that, okay, now he's there, he's in the zone. 7 sixes to get his 100. And that, remember, this is a guy who scored 264 as well in this format. And yet he's never hit 7 sixes in 100 before. So it tells you how dominant, not only was he dominant, he was attacking from the very start. And I think, what we were talking about, Zach, the fact that, scoring runs quickly is because if the pitch is tricky, 300 plus score, could be under pressure. They made sure that India was never under pressure. Think about it. It's a 300 match on not the best wicket in the world. Okay. And India never looked under pressure. And the one man responsible for that is Rohit Sharma.
Joyda, you're absolutely right, because he was being bold from the word go. He just didn't let the bowler settle, Zach, today.
Look, I mean, we often speak about, getting in the zone. And once you're in the zone, things start to tick. Then you're kind of on autopilot. That's what the experience also does to you. Rohit Sharma is Rohit Sharma, with that regard. You've seen that that shot which we were talking about in the com box as well, hitting it over point region, covers point, that direction, holding that shape well, timing the ball nicely. That was that shot for me, which told me that, okay, he's
back.
in. Yeah, he's in the zone. It's just about spending time and just continuing with that. The style, the elegance is associated with Rohit Sharma over the years. Today was no exception. He'll be very happy with this effort. It's something which he required also just before the big tournament. To get back into it, and he got back into it in style.
Joyda, Zach was talking about this the last time we met, and he was talking about all the noise not only from the outside, but the noise that Rohit probably is going through inside. He has silenced all the noise, and how with today's knock all across the park. We were both just, going gaga over that inside-out shot, but if you see the runs that he's got on the leg side and the pull shots he's played today.
Pull, straight drives, everything. I mean, he's shown us his entire repertoire. And I think that's what Rohit is great. Rohit, when he's in form, the great thing is you don't know where to bowl to him, because he's one of those guys who's equally good hitting you, smacking you over your head. He has fantastic timing, can hit you through the offside, can hit you through on. So he's a bowler's nightmare when he's in this kind of form. And I think that's what happened. And he just put so much pressure on them. I mean, you look at Adil Rashid, he's a really good bowler, and the ball was turning today. It's not that the ball wasn't turning. And he went for 79 in 10. And most of that was because of Rohit just absolutely massacred him up.
Zach, you've known him and you know how important it is for him to lead from the front. He's somebody who's always a very cool, chilled out guy. He's very entertaining in his press conferences, but we could see it probably eating into him a little bit. So this knock, getting into the Champions Trophy, very, very important for Rohit, the captain.
Well, he in demeanor might be showing you that side that, is very light and all that, but he's very intense as well. And when he bats, that intensity shows. So I think today's innings was also showing that determination. That when you're in, you're going to make it count, and you're going to make it big. Ticking all the boxes, the strike rate was up, those sixes which he has hit, that wagon wheel which you're seeing, pretty much scoring in all the areas except for the slip region, isn't it? So that shows that from point till fine leg, he's covered all the area and pretty much equal importance to all the areas. I mean, that's the caliber he has. He'll be very happy and satisfied with taking the pressure off. But also for himself, this knock is going to go a long way because when the stakes are high, pressure is on you. As a cricketer, you want to take up that challenge. All the other responsibilities are there. Yes, you're leading the side, you're captaining the side. All those planning, preparation, all those aspects as well. Only going to add to the pressure of doing what you do, which is scoring runs. So collectively, you can look at it. Rohit Sharma, the batter, will be very happy with this performance.
It's been a while, right? You look at it, it's been a while because it's easy to look at the one-day records, but that doesn't tell you a story. There were 3 one-day matches against Sri Lanka and before that the World Cup. But generally, he's been having quite an unsuccessful run. So this is really important for him. It's really important for him. It's really important for India, and it couldn't have come at a better time. 7 days before a really big tournament in this format. In this part of the world, I think it's perfect.
Well, Kia Seros is all about the future, and we as Indian fans hope that Rohit continues this form in the future. Rohit Sharma, our Kia Seros, performer of the day. Kia movement that inspires. But from the captain now to the vice captain, who had a very beautiful seat because he was watching the captain in full flow today. But Gill very slowly, steadily kept piling on those runs, and an absolutely stunning knock by him as well, Zach.
And change in position.
Yes,
he's
again.
someone. It's so important for Indian cricket as well that Shubman Gill, the batter, importantly, keeps evolving and keeps going higher and higher, keeps pushing that envelope. So that is something which we've seen from him. I think leading up to the champions, he's going to be the man to watch out for. You've seen that in the past, he's had that brilliant year where you're scoring that many hundreds and across the format. It's just about now thinking like that, and looks like from his body language, he's determined to do that. He's determined to replicate that. He's determined to score as many runs as possible, which is very important. So that mindset is seen in his last 2 ODIs for sure. The form. And the confidence needs to just now grow from here and go forward.
Joyda, second 50 on the trot for him, and he's looking solid in every aspect.
Also, if you see his innings, you break it up. In his first 30, he got in 32 balls. So Rohit is going berserk already, and he's just holding himself. He's playing, and then in the next 20 balls, he gets 30 runs. And that tells you his ability to be able to accelerate, and suddenly that run rate goes up. So I think that's the great thing about him. He could play within himself, saw Rohit was doing all the hard work, and then when it came to he started hitting himself, and he looked really, really good. Again, he also threw the offside. I mean, he looked so good through the offside.
Yes.
And both these players are very elegant players when they hit the ball. Yeah. So it was wonderful to watch as well.
Zach, something I want to understand as young players, Gill spoke about it the other day. He said that he knows that Jaiswal he played the last game, but he said there is, no toxic competition between them. As a young player, when you know there are people sitting at the bench, you have that added pressure as well. Now he's vice captain, so he has that added pressure as well. So lots for him also, which is, playing heavy on his shoulders.
Well, it's healthy competition, yes. I would say. And, in a team environment, you always sharing notes, isn't it? Like if someone is scoring, you got to enjoy each other's company, each other's success as well, and also learn from each other. So in various situations, what you do, how do you apply yourself? It starts from the senior players. Obviously, when you start your journey, you want to learn as much as possible from the experienced guys, but also from your mates to understand how they are dealing with it, how they are preparing, what are the processes you are following, all those kind of things. I'm sure Shubman and Yashasvi are sharing those notes as well, since they've been so consistent, and they are the future of Indian cricket. They know that. They have that responsibility on their shoulders. They know that the seniors also have set that kind of a tone. You look at Indian cricket, you always had greats who've been playing together. They had those partnerships. They pushed each other, and they got the best out of individuals. So I think that's going to be the same with these guys as well. So the young guns need to have that kind of camaraderie to be able to discuss game and improve their game and achieve things and contribute towards team success.
Well, I want to just read something for you all from the Cricbuzz app, because we were talking about what Shubman has been playing and how wonderful he's been playing. Shubman said, was feeling good when I was batting out there, and obviously batting with Rohit Bhai, he makes it look easy. The way he took on the bowlers, we've seen that in the last couple of years, how he batted in ODIs, and the way he dominated the bowlers today was a treat to watch. So again, Joyda, for someone like Shubman to sit, there's so much to learn when you see a Rohit Sharma, a knocks that he plays like this. He's still a youngster, he's all of 25, so lots of Shubman to learn when you watch a Rohit Sharma innings like
Absolutely. I mean, that's a camaraderie. I've just lost it now. Camaraderie. It's just one of those things that happens.
That's what Rohit Sharma's innings does to us.
It took my breath away. It just took my breath away. And it's unbelievable. I mean, for him also as a young batter, to be in the company of players like this and to see them on a regular basis, to watch Rohit bat at the other end, he's learning so much, he's absorbing so much. And young players are like sponges. Early on in their careers, they have so much, the wish to learn, the desire to learn, watching his body language, watching the way he approaches over, watching the way he prepares. So, I mean, the one thing you have to remember is every great team, when they're, really doing well, they usually have 2-3 experienced players, 2-3, world-class player, but a couple of young guns also they're pushing. And this is Shubman, Yashasvi, these are the young guns. They're pushing for their place. They want to make their place. And I think that just adds to the desire for the team, because they add in many very different ways. Look at the fielding. I mean, Shubman has pulled off a couple of brilliant catch today. Yashasvi took a brilliant catch the previous day. So they contribute in the field. They bring you some energy, and they bring some youth in the dressing room. So a great team needs that. It needs youth, it needs veteran performers, it needs stars, it needs journeyman players, it needs everybody. And I think this Indian team is looking complete for that. At least for this Champions Trophy, it's looking a very good side. There are a couple of things that we need to sort out, but I think basically you've got the right ingredients there.
You're talking about the right ingredients, Joyda. The right ingredients also went down today when Akshar and Shreyas once again performed so well. We've seen Akshar and what he did in the last game, 41 not out. Once again, given the opportunity with the bat, comes and grabs it with both hands. And Shreyas again, 44, very, very impressive, Zach.
Yeah, Shreyas is also continuing with the form which he's shown in the first game, making the most of it. Unfortunate run out, so he'll be disappointed with that, missing out on that 50. Along with Shubman, he would have also had that back-to-back 50s. So he'll be a little disappointed with that. But Akshar, the tactical call has worked. And that is going to be the conscious effort from the Indian team to use that left-hander, create that left-hander position in the middle order. Because there's predominantly the right-handed batting lineup which you're seeing. You've seen left-arm spinner, leg spinners can have that impact in the middle phase, and to counter that, Akshar is that answer at this stage. There's going to be a little bit of pressure on KL as well, since when you have Rishabh Pant sitting outside and this tactical left-handed option is working, you might be tempted to see that kind of a change in the Champions Trophy. It's too early to say, but I'm sure that pressure will be felt by KL as well with that regard, and we'll have to see how it evolves, since we've seen there are certain things happening tactically. So those kind of things they'll have to fine tune with the run chase we've seen in the previous game and this game as well. Towards the end, it was a comfortable thing. The situation was always under control, but it's still little area of work, I would say, in terms of adjustment, maybe the mental adjustment. Maybe the guys who are in needs to just stretch a bit longer rather than creating a scenario where you're losing wickets in cluster. So the comfortable situation can get tricky at times. So just like a red flag kind of a situation which you should address. You should not ignore that, because come the big game at times, those situations you need to be careful of.
Just someone to drive you home. You want someone to. But talking more on Akshar, do you see this now happening? We've seen this in the second game, him coming before.
Yeah, so my thing is that if I'm looking at the Indian think tank from outside, to solve this right-left situation, you have three possible solutions. A, you bring Yashasvi Jaiswal up front. Okay, so you bring a Yashasvi Jaiswal in. But what's your problem there? That you will have to drop either a Shubman or a Virat or a Shreyas. And at this point, all these guys are in form, and even if Virat is not in form, he is one of the greatest, ODI batters ever. Okay, so that's option one. Option two is bring Rishabh Pant in, KL Rahul, and then Rishabh can come in at 4 if necessary, 5 if necessary, 6 if necessary. Rishabh is capable of batting all those positions for you. Okay, so that's option number 2. Option number 3 is float Akshar, which is what they're doing now. So right now, of these 3 options, they have chosen option number 3, and that's how they're going about it. Can they change in the future? I think Zach is absolutely right. Given the kind of form that you're seeing in the top order and the fact that Virat, the chances of dropping Virat if Virat is fit is almost 0, your only real chances of, the only other opportunity that will happen is if basically Rishabh is bought in as keeper.
Yes.
That's the only other thing. Otherwise, you will continue to see Akshar floating. And I don't see any reason for them to change this script because it's working for them right now.
It's working for them, and we see it in today's innings progression as well, because when Akshar came in, when we see the comparison with England, we were pretty similar at one point, and then when Akshar came in, he continued the tempo. So clearly that's working, Zach.
Yeah. So actually, if you look at it, 7.5 to 4.3. Look at India, 7.7 to 7.4. So the difference is not much at all. We didn't drop off at all. The only time that we dropped off was by the time when reasonably we were cruising at that point in time, the target was close. But otherwise, 6.9 is still a very, very healthy target. That 4.3 was a huge drop off for them.
Yeah.
But Zach, do you think, one is floating someone like Akshar around, but sometimes someone like Rahul's temperament, who also has been floated around a lot, do players feel a little unsettled when they're floated around so much because the entire batting order goes for a toss then?
No, you're using that tactically. So if you look at the tempo, I mean, what you achieved in that is that the tempo which is set in the first power play, that is continued in the second one. Like when you compare it to England's approach,
Correct.
They slowed down there. But even though they slowed down, from England's analysis point of view, it was still fine because that's where they were faltering. So, so they're okay to go few gears down with Indian team because they didn't lose wicket. The start was solid. The tempo was set, so they continued with that without really taking much of risk. That's just some good batting there. And now you want to continue that in the third set of 10 overs. That's where Akshar comes into play. So that is how Indian team have been using that. So which is absolutely fine. You've seen this happen in the past as well.
Yes.
And the batters around that, then they adjust. It's not the situation which has gotten you out. It's not that, when you played this tactical move and then the situation has gotten out of hand.
Correct.
The situation in both the run chases has not been a concerning situation for anyone. So it's just about, going out there and just playing your game and getting the team home.
Yeah, I mean, what could change? I'll tell you what could change. Today, England has really one class person taking the ball away from the right-hander, which is Adil Rashid. If you come across a situation in the Champions Trophy where there may be 2 or 3 options where they're taking the ball away from the right-hander, then you might say that they'll think about it and say, maybe Akshar alone can't solve the situation, maybe get in a Rishabh or somebody.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, when you have only one Adil Rashid who has 10 overs, he's taking the ball away because, technically Liam Livingstone should not bother a batsman of any class. So that's why this solution is working now for India. And I think if they see that kind of situation arises, I think they'll make suitable adjustments.
Well, pretty much everything worked for India today, but that one thing that all fans across India would have wanted to go India's way is Virat Kohli there, who got out for the 9th straight time. He got out edged behind, so it's that 9-number curse. But
on the 9th of February.
On the 9th of February, it's all happened on number 9. But, everything went right. But as Indian fans, you turn up and you want to watch the king perform.
Yeah, look, let's put it this way, that, we'll think of us like, the fate out there is like Santa Claus and they're giving us gifts. So we've got gifts, okay. Shreyas, we've got Shreyas is okay, Shreyas is in form, Shami's fate. all it takes. So Rohit has got a century. So the only one box is left to be ticked off. There's one more match to go. So maybe Santa Claus will complete our list for us.
But Zach, that one match very important for Virat because, you know, for a player of his caliber, of course, there's all the noise, like we spoke for Rohit, the noise around Virat as well. The World Cup was in 2023. After that, you know, there hasn't been ODI cricket that he's played. So for someone like him, he will want to get into the runs before getting into a big tournament.
I mean, that's the pressure of expectation, isn't it? And it's him who has set that bar so high. You know, every time Virat has walked in to bat, he's delivered. You know, so that's the expectation always is going to be there. And you're just one innings away. You know, every time you talk about this, you've seen it in Rohit right now. The same thing. Suddenly the whole thing changes with that one innings. You're looking for that spark. You know, so with Virat also, he's no exception to that. And that's the beauty of the game. You know, the same rule applies to everyone.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who you are. So with Virat also, you know, it's just one innings. You know, that innings which just puts you back into that zone and everything starts flowing. So he will also be looking at it that way.
Well, everyone is hoping that one innings is in the next game that we have. But moving on to England now, I think England's bowling card looks like my report card when I used to go to my parents. I was very scared to show it, but this is not a very pretty sight. Of course, there is Overton who got those 2 wickets, but much later in the game, and it was all pretty much done and dusted. Not a very pretty sight, Joyita.
Not a very pretty sight. I mean, there's not much to take away because the tactical changes they made, you know, Gus Atkinson coming here. Jofra, as I said, it must be a matter of, you know, just preserving him and his fitness before a big tournament. But even Mark Wood in the middle, and I think some of the tactics that they tried didn't work out. Like they went for the short ball against Shreyas, and Shreyas actually enjoyed the short ball. He played it, and it was, in many ways, it worked in India's favour because if there's something again to tick off, it was Shreyas playing against short bowling, and he proved that he's done a lot of work in it and he can do it. So none of their tactics really worked. I mean, India, when did they lose wickets? You know, a stupid run out, you know, a couple of wickets falling in a bunch, you know, Hardik just losing his concentration. It's those kind of things that have happened. But you didn't look at it and said, that's a wicket they've really taken, you know, other than perhaps, you know, Adil Rashid getting Virat out. The rest of them were not wickets. They were given, the wickets were given rather than taken by the English bowling. And I think that's what they look at, that in these conditions, they look a very toothless bowling side.
Zach, you know, we spoke about this in the pre-match show where you said that the batters need to give them the runs. But today the runs, there were decent runs put up and we had spoken about the slowness of the track. But again, the England bowlers didn't really come to the party.
Yeah, I like the approach with the bat.
Yes.
You know, so you have to give that credit to this team that they tried, they made that effort of understanding, adapting to the condition, fine-tuning the approach which they've been talking about, and they got to a level from where if the last 10 overs had gone their way, you might have added say 20, 30 more runs in this. You know, if the finish was really strong. That didn't happen, which is fine. I mean, these are the days then the bowlers need to also come back to the party and set that tone with the new ball. And I think they failed to do that there. There's some good batting by Rohit and Shubman Gill at that stage. Shreyas batted well later. So that didn't really created that scenario for them or a situation for them where they could build that pressure. The wickets, when it happened towards the end, by then the game was completely over. I mean, that situation happens early. Then you have something to play with. But unfortunately for England, with the ball, they couldn't really create that scenario.
Well, Joyita, you know, the T20s and now the ODIs was a similar bunch of bowlers that England used. It's not working for them with the white ball. So where do they go? What do they look at the drawing?
They can't go anywhere now. This Champions Trophy, this is the set they have. Nobody from England is going to come and help them. They've got a couple of interesting, you know, Shoaib and all, a couple of interesting young bowlers in spin options. But they are more test bowlers, county bowlers, 4-day bowlers. They still don't have really good, you know, white ball spin.
Either a left-arm spinner comes in or a Rehan Ahmed comes in and plays along with Adil Rashid. This is the chance which they can look at, you know, maybe creating that. Because both these bowlers can use these conditions. We've seen with Livingston also now today he was looking to bowl more of leg spin to the left-handers as well. You know, so with that, you're creating maybe a wicket-taking opportunity which will create that scenario for them which you have something to play with. Other than that, you know, it's going to be an uphill task for them to create that impact.
But do you also feel Joss Butler missed a trick or so? Or did he just feel like, he wasn't trying something out of the box which he could have tried today?
I think he had limited bowling resources. I think his go-to bowler was Adil Rashid. Once Adil is there and, he threw Adil at the middle order, and Rohit was in such good form that Adil couldn't even check the flow of runs, let alone do too much damage. He got Virat's wicket. But that's the point. The cards that he had with him are not very impressive at this point in time. And perhaps, again, it's one of those things that had they got 320, 330, because they also, they flubbed their chase, their batting towards the end. They should have reached another 15, 20 runs. And had, again, they'd got a couple of wickets up front, they never had a pressure point. There was no point at which India looked under serious pressure. And I think that's the problem, that at no point in a full chase for 300 runs, and 300 is not a small amount of runs, At no point, if the team falls under pressure, then you have to ask yourself that, there's something, your bowling attack is missing something there.
But Zach, Butler, the captain, will be under immense pressure going to the Champions Trophy because the World Cup was disappointing and now the 4th consecutive bilateral that he's lost it.
Yeah, when you go by the numbers and you are in that position, that pressure is always there because that scrutiny has to happen at some stage. Now how much cushion you have, what kind of plans you have as England cricket you are looking at. Those will be the management calls which they will be looking at. But individually, he will be feeling that. You don't want to get frustrated as the results are going against you. At some stage, it catches on. So that concern is always there. So Butler is not going to be any exception to that. I think he will be looking at changing these numbers. You've seen with tournaments, like ICC tournaments, sometimes you get on a roll. The planning and preparation and what you can fine tune. Whatever is in your control right now is the chats which you're having. How can you learn from these experiences right now in these conditions and apply it as quickly as possible in terms of just tweaking that approach a little bit is something which they can definitely do.
I'll tell you one more thing. If you look at it, look how different India's T20 team is from its ODI team. Look at their ODI team versus their T20 team. It's really similar. Whereas our batting is almost completely different. We have literally 2 different batting sides. So that tells you something. That tells you that perhaps...
Lack of resources, probably.
Yeah. Their resources in terms of it, or they feel that they fit both. And I was just looking around and saying that, we're captaincy under pressure. Who else? You look at it and I was just saying, who's the first person to come to mind? If Joss Butler is not captain, who? You go back to Joe Root, but that's, going back to the past.
Steps, yes.
Is Livingston ready? No. Is Harry Brook ready? You have to say no. So then where do you go? And so all those points also come into play. That they're also at an inflection point. Just like our Rohit and Virat are, nearing the end of glorious careers, they are also at a point where, the young generation has not taken over and the older generation is just about, beginning to lose influence.
Well, moving from one captain to the other, Rohit always has wise things and entertaining things to say when he gives an interview. This is what he had to say. Important game series on the line. I broke it into pieces how I wanted to bat. It's a format that is no longer than T20 cricket and a lot shorter than tests. Still, you need to assess and bat according to the situation. They were trying to bowl into the body and not give room, so I prepared my plan as well. Zach, typical Rohit, but like you said, he's very intense when he comes out with the bat. So there has obviously been a lot of planning and clarity, but just the execution happened to be perfect today.
Well, you get opportunities when you score runs to talk about all these things. The planning preparation is always there. That goes from top to bottom. So that is always going to be integral part of things. Rohit, like I mentioned, he's intense that way. He's a thinking cricketer. He likes to think about tactics. He likes to analyze the data and all those kind of aspects. So he's going to dig deep. But I'm glad that today he got that opportunity after scoring the 100 to let it out there and express.
Well, we are all very excited fans because Rohit Sharma is back in form and the hitman is doing what the hitman does. He has quite a few things that he will have to go back and think about for the next match. So let's have a look at the next match, which will be happening in Ahmedabad. Joyda, we've won the series. So when Rohit has to go back, do you think Champions Trophy? Do you think I want to play the 11 that's going to be in the Champions Trophy, or should we rest people, get the people who haven't played and give them opportunities?
It's a tough call. It's a big tournament. Look, I think I would love to see Arshdeep and Kuldeep Yadav both are in the squad. I'd love to see them both playing because they need it. These guys are part of the squad, okay? So you need to give them more practice. Arshdeep needs to bowl. Before a big tournament, he needs to bowl. And I think you've had enough of a look at Harshit Rana. And Harshit Rana is not going to come into play unless somebody goes out.
Yes.
Nor is Varun Chakravarti. So you have seen those two options now. So if the Indian thought process was I'm examining Harshit and Varun as two possible options for Jasprit, I've done that now. If I would definitely throw in Kuldeep and Arshdeep at this point in time, give them opportunities. With the bat, I don't know. I mean, again, I would love to see Rishabh Pant, but then would that mess with KL Rahul's head? I'm not sure. So perhaps I'd keep it as it is.
Zach, if you were in the management right now, what would you be doing for the next game?
Well, generally, if you're looking at the flexibility which we've been talking about or which we've been hearing from the team management, then they should look at Washington as well. Because if tactically, when you're looking at floating someone like Aksar to have that tactical advantage, when teams are preparing against India, they might also start looking at tactical advantage and having left-handers in the middle. So two left-arm spinners, do you need variety there? And do you have enough confidence in throwing Washington Sundar in that situation tactically against any particular opposition is something which they also have to find the answer to. If they have that confidence without really giving him the game time that much, then it's a fair call. But if not, then these other opportunities you get. So the last game, the series is done and dusted. You've seen spinners change. So Kuldeep also is one of the guys who is coming off injury.
Yes.
So he also needs some international game time. So from that point of view, Kuldeep's case is also very strong. Washington, do you want to have that tactical advantage where you have the batting till 8, since that is the thought process which you set? That thing, Arshdeep, you need him to play that ODI format for sure, just to get those overs under his belt. Harshit, you are happy with, confident. Varun has been consistent performer. So, even if they miss a game, it's not going to be too much of a change in terms of the process. So I think, those are the discussions should and will happen before the last game.
Well, Joyda, with a series win, India has a luxury to decide what they want to do. England, on the other hand, have to salvage their pride and win this because, now that's what they're going to play for.
They've already thrown the kitchen sink at this. They've made their 3 changes.
Now what?
So now Tom Bantam is coming as replacement for Bethel, who's injured, so as a cover for him. So Tom Bantam probably might get a chance out there. I mean, they might play him. I would also like, if I was England, if Jofra, they don't want to play anymore, I'd definitely give, Tom Bantam is the only choice of somebody they could change who they haven't already tried out before.
But Bethel hamstring and maybe not going into the Champions Trophy will be a big, big blow because he's been looking good.
Yeah, and he adds with the ball as well,
Yeah.
bowling those few overs. So that's something, which they were looking at between Livingston, Root and Adil Rashid, to have that kind of a spin advantage. But other than that, I think, they don't have many choices. It looks like, England is very clear with what kind of plans they have, what kind of approach they want to have. And workload management is something they're doing between Jofra and Wood. I think that's their top priority. They want, maybe ideally their best scenario, both of them playing together. And I think that's what they will look to do in a tournament like Champions Trophy. And on the outside of things, you'll have Bryden Cars, Jamie Overton. These are the guys who will be fighting for that one spot and create that. If they somehow look to add another spinner, I think that will really change their chances. Looking at the tournament, looking at the conditions.
Well, England looking for a whole lot of answers. We are also looking for the answers. Now is that time of the show when we have to get Mr. Bhattacharya's answer in. Joyda, it's all you.
Okay, what feat have Shamar Joseph, Keith Miller and Nathan Lyon achieved in Test cricket? That's been achieved by one Indian cricketer. They got a wicket with their first ball in Test cricket.
Oh.
Nathan Lyon also got a wicket. And of course, Nilesh Kulkarni is the only Indian to achieve this feat. And the interesting thing is Nilesh Kulkarni goes and gets a wicket. And right after that, I think Mahanama and Jayasurya put on 576
Oh, it's
runs.
the same match when he
Same
went
match.
away, gave away some
So
200
can you imagine,
runs.
he must have
Yes.
walked in, started playing test cricket, and taken the first wicket and said, this is easy, I can do this. And the next thing, India bats for in the field for some 600 more runs after that.
Oh, well, let's have a look at who's gotten this right. I've heard this story very often about the number of
Sudeep
runs.
Abhyankar,
Abhyankar
he
is
is also
at
like
it.
the Indian team. He's also winning every one. He won it last time as well.
Yeah, Sudeep is on a hat-trick. So well done, Sudeep. It's not only you who's on a hat-trick. Mr. Joy Bhattacharya himself is on a hat-trick. So let's applaud because you won the prediction game, the last game. You won it for the the power play right now and in the last inning. So it's a hat-trick.
Thank you very much. Only I have to do this at times when there's no leaderboard. Come the IPL, I'll still be sitting in 20th place wondering what has happened. But that is life for us.
No, but we will make it public that you, in the bilaterals, were the leader, top leader. We should give you some points. I think we'll speak to our team and tell them to give you a little heads up just because of your brilliant performance in the bilateral.
Absolutely.
It's just fair.
Yeah,
it's just fair. So we will put this note in, but of course it has to be passed by you know who, Mr. Gaurav Kapoor, because he decides. So if you can manage
From menus to rules, everything Gaurav Kapoor decides.
Everything decides.
Not in this format.
I like it. I like it. Yes, absolutely true.
Sorry, GK. Well, Zach, I think you are off for a well-deserved break before the
I'm
big
looking forward to
tournament.
it, yes.
We will miss you lots. But thank you so much for the last 2 games. It's been great fun. We will, of course, Joyda, not be letting you go anywhere, and Harsha will be joining us, which is going to be lots of fun. So thank you so much for today.
Pleasure.
And for the previous game. I will be seeing you very soon. I know you have to run for a flight. So we shall say thank you to all those who have watched today. Do join us for the next game. We will have Harsha and Joyda with us on the 12th. That's all for now. Thank you and good night.